Thank you everybody for tuning in. Welcome to the AdvicePay and Panoramix integration event. We are so excited to have you here today to show off this awesome tool. Okay, my name is Adina Wade. I am the customer success lead at Panoramix. Today we have joining us Bill Winterberg, the Vice President of Financial Planning Growth at AdvicePay. Chris Hastings, the CEO of Sapphire Software Services, which is the creator of Panoramix. And James Charles is also in here, who is our account manager at Panoramix. You may have seen the news over the last couple of months about this fabulous integration coming to life. We're here today to tell you about each of our products and why AdvicePay and Panoramix are better together. We'll spend some time looking at the integration itself in Panoramix, and then Chris and Bill will talk about why these two tools are so powerful together. And to start things off, I'm going to pass it over to Bill to give us the lowdown on everything AdvicePay.
Terrific, Adina. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and attention today. We hope to give you a great introduction into what AdvicePay is. And also Chris will talk about Panoramix from a portfolio management side of the business and how two of them are coming together to ease your revenue collection for some of your optional billing strategies, but also give you some additional clarity and transparency into fee calculations and net of fee performance reports that we'll talk about. So if you're not yet familiar with AdvicePay, we'll run through a brief overview. And so Adina, the next slide gives that overview of what AdvicePay is. And so AdvicePay is a billing and payment platform for fee-for-service activity and fee-for-service engagements. And that fee-for-service can be financial planning services that are independent of investment management services, but they can also be related to investment management services. And that's more related to the Panoramix users that you're using that solution for investment management to view holdings, perform trades and rebalancing and just all that necessary management that goes into those household account management. Now with AdvicePay, you can set up one-time invoices or recurring subscription engagements. And later, Chris will show you how the one-time invoice generation for your investment management fees can actually be done in a bulk fashion rather than a manual process one by one. And on the receiving end, your clients, your investors are able to pay with their preferred method, and that can be through an ACH transaction, through a checking account, or even a brokerage account that supports ACH services, or even pay your fees using a credit card. Many clients are interested in maximizing their points, and that is something that they really desire to do for their investment management and fee-for-service planning fees. So in AdvicePay, you can automatically generate invoices, as I said, and send those to your clients for a payment. If you would like to use AdvicePay for your agreements, e-signature is supported through AdvicePay. So as you update your agreements and submit them to clients for their approval and for their signature, that's something you can do inside AdvicePay. And also AdvicePay exists to enforce some guardrails, I suppose, that prevents the issues of custody. And so anytime that you're handling payments with ACH or credit card account information, you want at all costs to avoid taking custody or potentially having custody of client funds. And so that logic and those workflows are built in automatically to AdvicePay so that you're not triggering custody and opening up your business to greater scrutiny and audit expenses to deal with the custody requirements. And so on the next screen, Adina, what are our customers experiencing by adding AdvicePay to their business? We're seeing growth in two significant ways. One is by offering fee-for-service engagements, we are seeing advisors engage in that financial planning experience, perform comprehensive planning, and prove what the firm is able to do. And in that fee-for-service engagement, the advisor generally wins over the relationship for that client, for that household, by demonstrating the capabilities through that fee-for-service engagement. And once the skill set is demonstrated, the household decides, wow, I was very impressed with my fee-for-service engagement. I do want to move all of my assets over to this advisory firm and have a complete relationship with that firm. And so some of our users are seeing a 3.2x net new asset growth for those using fee-for-service in their business versus those firms who don't have a fee-for-service element in their business. Those who do are seeing that 3.2 times net new asset growth versus those who don't. And those who opt to employ subscription-based revenue, we're starting to see that in years from year 1 into year 2, they're seeing over a 450% increase in those subscription fees or in that subscription revenue from year 1 to year 2, which is a phenomenal increase that we see on our power users who are implementing those subscriptions. And so on the next slide, Adina, we have why you're wanting to consider fee-for-service in your business. 4 quick takeaways are: first, it really minimizes conflicts of interest. And so when your fees are not tied to a product sale or any other type of product or commission-based investment vehicle, you're really able to offer advice and offer that fee-for-service engagement, and that is what you're offering, and it doesn't come with any strings attached. And you're able to sell that advice engagement, and your clients buy into it and pay you for that advice engagement. And that really does increase transparency, which is the second point. So your clients are very educated and informed about what the fee is for the service that you provide. They see it in plain English in an invoice and they pay it. It's very clear what they're paying. And in many respects, when they know exactly what they're paying for a plan or for an investment portfolio review or a college review, whatever it is, your clients are able to assign a bit more value and they can sense the value. Is it worth the fee that I pay? Rather than having a significant large fee with all sorts of services bundled in, I think clients sometimes struggle to identify where the value is for all of the fees that they pay for some of these specific services. In addition to those, you also have the ability to open up your business to new business models and open your advice to some households that may not fit your traditional assets under management or asset minimum requirements that you have. So if you think about a couple who just graduated from graduate school and have landed their first careers and they have high incomes, but they bring on student loan debt and they have not yet had incomes to put any money away in their savings or in their IRA or their 401ks, they don't yet have those assets to manage and move over to your business, but they can still afford a really healthy fee-for-service engagement. So opening up something like AdvicePay allows you to bill for that fee-for-service engagement, and those households can work with you, and you can build that rapport, build that engagement. So as they save year after year, they eventually get to that point where they can graduate into a full asset management relationship with you. And so that's that. Touching on that fourth point about adding some flexibility to your fee structure. You can choose different mechanisms to generate revenue in your firm, whether it's hourly or project-based, or as we'll see with the Panoramix demo, you can even use AdvicePay to bill for your investment management fees. And this allows your clients to pay using their bank account or their credit account and not being forced to debit fees from long-term investment accounts. And so that gives you that flexibility to run that using a system like AdvicePay. And so in the next slide, we are offering for those attendees viewing the Panoramix integration, we are extending our free trial, originally the 14-day free trial that most our signups get, into a full 30-day free trial. You can grab your phone and snap the QR code or visit info.advicepay.com/Panoramix. And that will give you a 30-day free trial of our professional plan where you can have unlimited client accounts, you can have unlimited admin users to manage your dashboard, you can customize your invoice with your firm name and your firm logo, you'll get that e-signature capability built right in and access integrations just like the one you're going to see into Panoramix. So that is also info.advicepay.com/Panoramix. And our last slide will give you our contact information. If you have any more questions after this demo, you can email us at sales@advicepay.com. And always you can view our knowledge base and other demo videos that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at advicepay.com. And with that, I will turn it over to Chris to talk about the Panoramix integration that they built and show you how it facilitates the fee-for-service payment through AdvicePay.
Actually, I'm going to turn it over to me because I'm going to talk about the other half of this partnership.
All right, Adina, all right, you take it away. Great.
Thank you, Bill. All right, so second half of this partnership, Panoramix. Our tagline tells you exactly what we do: billing, performance, Panoramix. Those areas are where we focus our energy, and it's what we do best in terms of software development. However, our platform has a lot more than that, which we will cover soon. Our third major focus is something we truly pride ourselves on: customer service. We live and breathe customer service. From delivering an immersive onboarding experience to providing in-depth training and support materials to delivering software updates with client-requested enhancements every 3 weeks, we make you, the client, our priority. And we're proud to hold the highest customer satisfaction rating in the annual T3 Advisor survey. We've held this title for 4 years running now, with consecutive increases in our overall satisfaction score. Looking at the software itself now, the Panoramix user experience is centered around 3 primary dashboards for day-to-day client portfolio management. The Advisor dashboard greets you upon startup, focused on your book of business as a whole. The Contact dashboard presents a wealth of information unique to each of your clients and households, and the Portfolio dashboard breaks down the portfolio of each client. The Advisor and Client dashboards are built with widgets, which you have full control of. There are hundreds of ways to customize these dashboards to your liking, allowing you to choose what information you see right away and where. All of the functionality you have in Panoramix is exposed in a familiar ribbon-like menu structure, boasting easy navigation. And within the application, we grant easy access to a forever growing library of training videos, help manuals, webinars, and answers to frequently asked questions. Under the Help tab, all it takes is one click to access this library, check for software updates, update your software if it wasn't updated automatically, see the list of enhancements made in previous product releases, and access the form to submit support requests, which include the ability to add attachments. Now, here are Specialties, billing and performance reporting. As one of the last independent billing and performance reporting softwares in the industry, we deliver one of the most robust, flexible systems out there. We've got a beast ready to perform for you. Once you've established your billing settings in Panoramix, of which there are far too many combinations for me to even try to think about here, running your billing is as easy as one click. If you've got a massive book of business where the billing takes a while, you can start the process, go somewhere else to get some other work done, and we'll let you know when it's done and ready to go. Then you can easily export your generated fees to your custodian, as well as your personal files for your own records. And not only is running your billing and getting paid super easy in Panoramix, but it's completely, once again, customizable to your firm. Now, when you talk performance reporting, we think data, which we have in abundance ready for you to peruse. There are more than 50 reports in Panoramix. Obtaining any selection of information from your book of business is readily accessible in multiple forms, and it's easily done. Panoramix has reports catered to the advisor, individual clients, as well as households. You can generate reports individually, or you can do it in batch, and you can even grant clients access to run some of these reports in their client portal. And like I mentioned earlier, Panoramix is so much more beyond billing and performance reporting. With our release of Panoramix Pro in 2021, we actually are now considered a most-in-one platform, providing multiple tools to help you be successful in your day-to-day workflow. And to top it off, our pricing structure makes us the best value in the industry when you're shopping for a portfolio management tool. Now, I didn't cover all of what Panoramix offers today because there truly is so much, and because you can schedule a demo with us to see it firsthand, tailored to your unique needs. And if you'd like to learn more about the Powerhouse, you can jump straight to that demo and contact us either through the web at panoramixfinancial.com, or you can email us info@panoramixfinancial.com. And yes, you are reading that correctly. You can test out Panoramix for free for 30 days. Our free trial includes your data for an immersive experience with one-on-one training. Now I get to pass it over to Chris, and you too, Bill, if you want to add in some stuff. We're going to talk about why these two tools are better together, and we'll show off this integration in real time.
Thank you, Adina and Bill. Nice work. So I'm just going to show you kind of how it works in Panoramix. There's lots of reasons why you would want to use this in Panoramix or in another product. And I'm going to show you kind of how it works in Panoramix. The first thing is that you have to set up your customers, and we make that extraordinarily easy. You can do that individually. So if I go into a client in Panoramix, I can go up here, I can say export and I can actually click on the AdvicePay link. And every time you do anything with AdvicePay, it's going to bring you up a little screen that says, are you authorized? And if you're not, you can go do the one-time authorization and get everything set up. And then you can say, well, all right, do I already have some clients in AdvicePay? I can go here and say, all right, do I have the Andersons over there? And I can look for that. And I have Jay Anderson, but that's not the Anderson I'm looking for. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that client to AdvicePay. And now when I do that, that is all set up. And when I come back here, if I reload my contact information, I'm actually going to see an AdvicePay logo right there. So it says, all right, he's all hooked up with AdvicePay. So that's how easy it is to get your clients hooked up. And then when I go run my billing in Panoramix, I'm going to go rerun this because I just added a new AdvicePay person. You know, the wonders of Panoramix billing. There it is. Woo, there's all my billing. I'm going to go in, and once I do my billing, I can say, hey, I want to export that to AdvicePay. And so I have a couple options here when I do that. One of them is, do I want to send everybody, because it shows me who's connected. So I have AdvicePay IDs there. And I can say, I want to go ahead and add clients that aren't already there. So I might want to do that for everybody, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the ones I have. Do you want to combine your households? Do you want to check to see if I've already done this once this month? Because, you know, sometimes people make mistakes. And then you have the option to show the calculations in very detailed invoice or not. Some people want to see a detailed invoice, some people don't. And then if you want to change the date of the invoice, and then I just say, yep, all right, that's good. Go generate that. And it said, okay, I created 3 invoices for 5 accounts for that much money. 24 were not created because they don't have an AdvicePay relationship. And it's as easy as that. And if I want to then jump over into AdvicePay, I can go over to my dashboard and I can go to my invoices. And here's the 3 that I just added. I can go take a look at those and see how they, I can pay them here. And this is the AdvicePay interface, but I can actually go view that invoice. And that's going to show you, all right, I'm charging this much for that account, this much for that account, this much for that account, and here's the total. And all that came over from Panoramix, and you're good to go. So it's a great way to bill outside of the custodian. The last thing I will say is that when all is said and done, we also have the ability to say, I want to create fee transactions. If you, excuse me, are doing performance properly and doing net of fees, the problem with not generating your fees through the custodian and having the custodian pay is that they don't get reflected in the system. And in this way, because they are outside of the custodian, we say, okay, I just sent those, and now go ahead and actually generate a fee transaction in Panoramix, so you actually do have net of fees versus gross of fees, because the fees are coming outside the custodian. So that is how simple and easy it is. And it is a great tool if you want to bill something outside of the custodian, which is becoming more and more popular. So with that, I'm going to send it back to you, Adina.
Awesome. Thank you for that quick demo. Love to see those two together. All right, now we are going to open it up for any questions that folks might have about this integration or about each of these tools individually. You do have the option to enter a comment into the chat if you'd like, or you can even raise your hand and we can let you unmute yourself and you can ask the question in real time. Anybody have any thoughts they'd like to share? Maybe while folks are thinking of questions, do you guys have any last remarks you'd like to share with everybody?
Well, I'll add a remark. One of the good advantages, one of the nice things that Panoramix supports is that ability to tweak the invoice a little bit. And the tweaking is do you want to see just the summary of the fee per account, or do you want to see the detailed description? And so I think many advisors who work with detail-oriented clients who might be engineers by trade, they want to see top to bottom how my fees are calculated and make sure that they are accurate based on the agreement that they recall setting up. So they're definitely there's going to be certain households that want to see the level of calculations in there. And this is a great time saver for advisors because this is automatically added by Panoramix using the Panoramix calculations. There is no additional detail or description that the advisor is required to put in to describe how that fee was generated. I know fee calculations can get quite complex and have some exceptions in there. And this is a great advantage on how Panoramix fills that in programmatically and doesn't require any extra effort by the advisor.
So Bill, we got a question. Does the client have to go in and actually approve each invoice? And I believe the answer is yes, because they're not recurring.
Yes, that is correct. So the Panoramix is generating a one-time invoice. And so based on the advisor's billing schedule, which is generally probably quarterly billing, because if you do a monthly billing under the AdvicePay, you'll be sending 12 invoices, one per month, to the household. So that may be a frequency that is not good for the advisory firm, nor is it good for the client experience. So most firms are using AdvicePay to bill quarterly, and so the client, the household, will receive only 4 invoices for the duration of the year. And there was a question: is there a certain duration? Do payments have to wait for a client to approve each time? There is, I think, the helpful option inside AdvicePay is being able to see which invoices have been paid and which invoices are outstanding. And so you can view that in a consolidated view on the AdvicePay dashboard. And there's that drop down list that Chris was showing where for any unpaid invoices, maybe that's 15 days or 30 days, a reminder can be set to that household. So they get a friendly reminder that they have that outstanding invoice.
And we had another question: how do you hook up AdvicePay? Anytime you do anything with AdvicePay, you can actually hook it up the first time at that point. So if I want to go in here and say export to AdvicePay, it's going to come up with this screen that says I'm not authorized, and then you can hit authenticate with AdvicePay, which is going to bring you up a screen in AdvicePay to do that. Whenever you use any of the screens, it will just have whether it's authenticated at that point. Yeah, that deal there. And so that wouldn't be checked. Just hit the authenticate with AdvicePay. It's going to say, all right, I need to go launch a screen. It brings me in here. Do I want to allow access? I sure do. And then it's as easy as that. And there you go. I do not know the answer to that. Can you have some type of negative consent after a period of time? I don't know the rules of stuff. Do you know the rules of stuff, Bill?
Yeah, it's a good question from Mark about the negative consent. Sometimes that's built into an agreement, and so it's going to get into the contractual agreement between the advisory firm and the client. So it's one of those, your mileage might vary on what your decision is on the duration that you allow a payment to be stale, I suppose is a word for it, before you get into a negative consent and terminate the ongoing management or terminate the relationship. Those types of terms need to be clearly described in the onboarding agreement that the customer agrees to and signs to go into the asset management relationship with the firm. So it's really, I think, better suited for your compliance officer or your third-party compliance consultant to figure out what language and what agreement works best for your firm.
All right, all good questions.
Yeah. Bill and Chris, any other final thoughts?
We're just really impressed with, from the portfolio accounting and portfolio management side of things. I think this is going to open up that potential, innovative approach for options in revenue collection, but also on how clients want to pay for investment management. And one of the things we're experiencing right now is a bear market in the investment space, where we've seen especially technology companies go down about 30% on an index basis, 20% on the S&P and the Dow. So one of the challenges is if advisors are running their fee debits through those accounts, well, while the market's down 20%, now you're going into the account and subtracting from it. So the accounts are not going to be fully invested for the market recovery. But for these accounts where Panoramix is generating fees and the fees are collected from accounts that are not part of that long-term investment account, that investment account stays untouched and it can participate 100% in the eventual market recovery and then the subsequent bull markets thereafter. So that gives those investors that advantage to fully recover from bear markets like we're experiencing right now. And that is brought about because you can use Panoramix to provide that alternative payment option for clients and allow those investment accounts to fully participate in the market recovery. And that's supported by this technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, hand in hand with part of that is that you're kind of saying, hey, performance can be affected by paying fees one way or the other. And a lot of times people will say, well, I have this annuity and I want to, bill for that because I'm doing this. And so you bill like some of the held aways or outside accounts or some other things you might bill to an existing custodial account just because it's easy. And so you can get that. And that's an interesting thing because it affects performance. So all of those fees wind up in a net of fee performance, making that account they're billing to look like it's not performing as well. So this actually can help you out with some of these other things to say, yeah, I'm just going to get a check for that rather than bill it to the TD account or the Schwab account, because that will actually affect the performance of those other accounts. So it's a great tool. And I know that on the I'm a technology guy, so I mean, and I when we implemented this, it was by far the easiest implementation we've had. They have just great technology over at AdvicePay. It took us 3 weeks start to finish, I think, and it was just it's a great technology there, and I think it's a good add for us on Panoramix. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're happy to partner with you. It's one of the first portfolio accounting software programs to do pretty robust integration just like this, to not only automatically generate the invoices with lots of detailed in that, but also to be able to add in those fee transactions back in to your client records so that when the performance reports are generated, they are accurate and accurately reflect the net of fees. And so that's great to see in the space among portfolio accounting solutions out there.
Yeah,
all right, you want to take us home, Adina?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see any other new questions coming through, so I guess we can wrap things up. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and sharing your time with us today. Bill, Chris, thank you so much. Really appreciate your work. This is an awesome integration, and I hope you guys truly love this and get to use this.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Panoramix and AdvicePay. Together, your perfect combination for any billing scenario with net of fees, performance reporting, and more client savings. Easily connect Panoramix to AdvicePay. Generate billing. Export directly to AdvicePay for creation of detailed invoices. Book the fees in Panoramix. AdvicePay and Panoramix. It's as easy as eating pie.